Well, hey, Owen, you said, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, this is first, Owen. Welcome to the Distorted Dialogue podcast. This
Thanks,
is
man.
Owen from the killer, I guess that would be progressive, melodic, death metal, Ap
Sure. All the
Adwan
above.
Aduanten? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I say it. It's technically a made up word, so I guess it's kind of up to everybody how they want to pronounce it, but that's how I usually say it at Wanton. So,
I started thinking, like, I just interviewed some Irish guys last week
yeah.
from Horrenda, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the All Ireland Metal Project.
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh man, cool project. I'll send it over to you after this. They did some
Yeah.
tribute to Ozzy for some charitable funds. They brought together like 140 musicians from all over Ireland throughout
Okay.
COVID, and they were like
Yeah.
trying to have like a positive release of music being under the extreme lockdown. And
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
yes, so they made a bunch of different albums out for charities all across Ireland, and they're great, all different types of metal. And I'll send it over to you afterwards.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I'd love to check that out. That sounds like a cool idea.
But Dara from Horrenda, the Irish band, he let me know that I pronounced nothing from Ireland correctly at all.
Well,
But
yeah, you can't really use English phonetic conventions to really understand how words are pronounced here, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
if you're an English speaker, you're looking at the way an Irish word is spelled, you can't really sound it out just by looking at the letters because the phonetics are way different in Irish. So yeah.
yeah. My wife's grandmother was from Ireland, so she
Oh,
just
okay.
passed. But she speaks
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
yeah, she was speaking Gaelic and she taught my kids
Yeah.
some Gaelic, but I don't speak anything.
That's so cool.
English is a struggle for me at this point.
Yeah,
Well,
no
hey,
kidding.
the album Apocryphal Verse that you guys just released,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. Like the whole thing. You guys have to be super excited at the way that turned out.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, we are, man. Yeah, it's weird. It took way longer to finish than we thought. So definitely proud of it. Definitely love the way it turned out. Happy to have it out in the world. But it's one of those things where we heard it so many times and we went through so many tribulations during the production that like by the time it was out, I almost like couldn't even like hear it objectively anymore, because I'd listened to it so many times. But yeah, no, we're super proud of it, man. Like we've been sitting on those songs for a long time, and everything really came together on the production side and the performances. So yeah, we're really happy it's out there. So
It grabbed me like from the very first moment. And usually in songs that sound like in your genre,
yeah,
usually have like a lot of intros and like interludes and like you guys just got right like within like the first 10 seconds, like you can just settle into a groove and just let
yeah.
it just flow throughout the whole piece. Next thing you know, it's over. And you're just like, I want more.
Oh, that's cool, man. Thank you. I'm really glad you dig it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So now you do the drums
Yeah,
for,
that's right.
they were so textured. It was
Mm.
almost like I could envision someone with like tweezers placing notes delicately on like paper that like there's just a lot of texture. And as I started diving in more, because of course I wasn't familiar with you guys prior to this,
Yeah.
it really like I started going down the path and then I realized why I liked it. Like I'm a huge fan of the other word I can't pronounce, obsequiae.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I just call it obsa, whatever you say it. But so the sounds like I was a big fan of that, and then I got into like Crypt Sermon and Majesties
Right.
and those sounds. And then when I found this, I was like, oh man, I didn't obviously know it was you guys. And then it was like, wow, this fits right in. And then that's
Yeah.
why I like it, you know?
Oh, that's cool, man. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I guess I never thought about those comparisons directly, but yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I spent a few years with Obsequiae and played on the last record, and obviously know all those guys who are in Majesties and all the side projects, and by extension, Crypt Sermon a little bit. I don't know them personally, but I know obviously Tanner has been doing that for a while, and so yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of cross pollination that kind of happened. Particularly that Majesty's record, probably one of my favorite metal records in the last few years. I listened to the shit out of that, man. I love that record, and it's a kind of metal and an era of metal that I'm really nostalgic for. And so, yeah, like that's cool. Like I said, I never thought about the comparison, but I'm sure there's a lot of like indirect influence happening there for sure. You know.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool too, like as I was looking into more of your history, that you do some jazz work and some
Yeah.
avant-garde stuff. And I'm just getting into jazz too, so that
Oh,
plays
cool.
right in, yeah.
Nice, nice. It's a whole rabbit hole, man.
So how does that though? Because like I just went and saw Alex Skolnick trio maybe 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and it was the first time I've ever seen like a true jazz drummer. And I
Yeah.
watched how the Skolnick trio has been together for 20 years, the three piece, and I've
Mhm.
watched how they interacted on stage, and it was so
Mhm.
different than metal. And
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if like that's how much of the songwriting from jazz did you bring into this metal project?
Yeah, I mean, I try to uh in ways that I feel like fit, like obviously you can't just go onto a metal record and play the way you would like a swinging like jazz trio or something. It would be awkward. So like you kind of have to pick your spots of where you can bring in some of those influences. I mean, I guess the main way that I try to bring it in is I try to have like spots of improvisation in the music, because it's really improvisation that like turned me into a jazz head and got me really hooked on playing jazz was that element of improvisation. And so once you get hooked on that, you kind of you really want to do that in all the gigs that you play, even not jazz gigs, just because it's so addictive.
Yeah.
So, like with Aduanten, the grooves that I play are pretty composed, like they're pretty written. But anytime I play like a fill or something, I don't really plan what the fill is going to be. I just kind of know the amount of space that I have to work with, and I just like when it comes up to that point in the song, I just like try and make something up on the spot. So that's where I can kind of fit in some elements of improvisation just to like make that a little more enjoyable for myself. So that's probably like a subtle thing that not a lot of people notice, but that's probably the main way that I kind of try to represent that in like metal gigs that I do.
What I think I noticed about your drumming in Aduanten in particular, and a little bit in Obs or whatever, they they it's almost like you have different layers and textures of drumming. Like there's like some other percussion moments that might
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be like your typical drumming.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, credit where it's due. Like on the Unwanted record, a lot of the percussion parts were done by our good buddy Adrian Benavides, who is he's been a really close friend of ours for a long time. He's almost like a additional member of the band at this point. He did a lot of production work, and he's a percussionist. He did some synth stuff too. So a lot of those parts you're hearing are him. But yeah, I mean, I think I probably know what you mean in terms of the textures. Like I probably a lot of the drummers that I really gravitate towards these days are drummers who really kind of take that kind of textural approach. Even outside of the metal world, I'm thinking about drummers like Gavin Harrison, or a lot of modern jazz drummers. They kind of think of it not in that kind of traditional rock way of like a kick snare backbeat kind of thing, but more just kind of trying to create unusual patterns, unusual textures. Weirdly enough, I was listening to a lot of Peter Gabriel's solo work whenever I was writing the drum parts for this record, and so there's one live album in particular that I really love from the '90s, with Manu Katché on drums. And I was just, man, I was wearing that record out when we were demoing these songs, and I really wanted to. He's another good example of that. Like I really wanted to kind of recreate that. He's great at that kind of like texture painting thing with his drums, where it's not really just a basic hi hat, kick, snare, groove. He's doing like cool stuff with the toms, where he's kind of like making these weird patterns and stuff. So yeah, man. I mean, that I just I try to bring in all those influences from all these other worlds of music wherever I can. So it's cool that it's like kind of comes through whenever you listen to it.
So how cool is it working with your brother in a project still? Because I
Yeah.
I've interviewed several like musicians who've been in bands with brothers, and like
Yeah.
I'd say 70% of them are like, "Oh, it's great," and then like
Mm.
30% are like, "Ugh." So,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great, man. It's great. Like, we've got we've been playing in bands together now for I don't even know how long, man. Like at least since I was in high school, like 15 was when I joined the first band, the first metal band that he was in when I was 15. And we've always been in bands. Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Like when I started to turn 14, 15, 16, my taste in music started to really kind of hew closely to what he was listening to, which is a really common thing with older brothers. A lot of times your older brother shows you records that you end up loving, you know. He was the first one to get into metal, so I kind of followed him into that world. And I think once I got into drumming and started playing metal drums. Yeah, I mean, we always started playing in bands. I think we see music in a lot of the same ways. We have a lot of the same philosophies about music and about writing, and so that makes it easier. And yeah, it's great, man. You know, it's super cool, man. He's a brilliant writer, brilliant composer. I'm always surprised when he sends over a new demo. Like there's never been a demo he sent over for a new song where I'm just like, oh, this is a little cliche. This sounds like something we've done before. I'm always just like, God, where did that come from? You know, so it's great, man. Like it's super cool. It's been a great, really creative partnership for all these years. You know.
now that so he's in Texas now, and you're in
Yeah,
Ireland. Now,
that's
did you guys grow up in Ireland? Well, you don't have a much of an accent, it seems. So, like, I would think
no,
you're an American.
yeah, yeah, no. So we,
Okay.
we were both born in Ireland,
Oh, okay.
but we both grew up in Texas. So that's why we both have very Irish names and very American accents. Kind of confuses everybody.
Sure,
um,
sure.
yeah, but yeah, I moved over here about 3 years ago. I've been living in Dublin ever since then. But yeah, he's in Texas in Austin. So
I'm trying to make it over to Galway. I've been talking to my wife's mother. They still have family over there, and I was like, man, I want to go to Galway with you. So
yeah,
next time she goes, I think I might take the trip with her.
yeah, you should, man. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous country. Galway's great. A lot of cool music and culture stuff there. Yeah, really recommend it if you've never been here, man. It's a great place. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So with your brother being older and you guys getting into metal together, now
yeah,
do your listening habits kind of go the same or
yeah. And in some ways, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff we both like. Um, yeah, it's funny, man. Like we both he got into metal a few years before I did. I got into metal when like I said when I was about 15, 16. We were both pretty dedicated like metalheads pretty exclusively for a long time, but as we both got older, we both kind of branched out into other kinds of music. And so now a lot of times, honestly, when we exchange music, a lot of times it's almost never metal. You know, he listens to a lot of like really cool like post-punk and you know, sometimes even pop stuff and like a lot of nostalgic stuff from the 80s and stuff that I never got exposed to. And I got really into the jazz world and some pop stuff and rap and hip hop and stuff. So we're always kind of like exchanging music and yeah, like we definitely like a lot of the same stuff. Not all of it, you know.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But it's cool, man. Like it's cool. That's been another way that we've kind of bonded over the years is just exchanging like music recommendations and he's hitched me to a lot of records that I've ended up loving. So yeah.
The reason I asked was because like I went back and got re-familiar with Vex. And then from
Yeah.
when Vex disbanded and then you guys started Aduanten,
Yeah.
it seems like a huge shift in sound. And so
Yeah.
like I thought like, maybe you guys had like different influences at the time or
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you know, with Vex, I think it was like we had been together a long time, and we had had the same lineup for a long time. And you know, I think maybe with Vex, there were kind of like differing opinions about which direction we wanted to go. And because it was kind of a democratic thing, like it was always kind of a push pull of like somebody wanted to go in one direction and somebody else maybe wasn't crazy about it, so we kind of pulled it back in another direction. So we definitely thought of once Vex disbanded, we definitely thought of Adwanten as kind of a clean slate of like, okay, if we just like started from scratch, like what would be the kind of sound we want to go for. And that's where a lot of that difference comes in that you hear. I think a lot of it also is like we we worked with guest musicians with Aduanten because it was just me and Ciaran and Mike are really the only kind of band members, if you like. So when we brought in guest musicians, like we were really deliberate about bringing in people who had really, really specific musical personalities, really specific styles and aesthetics to the way they play. And I think that really helped lend a really unique sound to the band as well. Just because, like I said, Vex had been together for a long time. We'd done a bunch of records and tours, so we kind of had like a set thing. We knew each other really well. So yeah, it was really cool with Ed Wanton to be able to explore some of these other ideas that were kind of more left field, and having the guest musicians bring in ideas that we never would have brought in on our own. And it was just super cool to just explore those and just kind of see where they went. And yeah, so yeah, it's cool. It's cool that it kind of came across as like a pretty different sound, because that was definitely one thing we wanted to do with it.
Yeah, and I think even with excuse me, 4 year gap between Apocryphal Verse and Sullen
Yeah,
Cadence,
yeah.
I played them back to back today. Well, I played them a lot over the last couple of days, but
Oh, cool.
I played them back to back today, and it just flowed together like almost
Mm,
seamlessly.
cool.
And I thought that was really cool because like I was reading up, and you guys brought in like Tanner and Damien and Joel,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really peculiar that you guys would be bringing in so many talented people. Like Tanner's
Mm,
probably one of my favorite musicians.
yeah.
And so for you guys to keep bringing in this level of talent and for it to sound seamless and
Yeah.
cohesive and, like it doesn't sound like two completely different sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really cool, man. Really cool.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, like funny enough, I think probably the reason for that is we wrote a lot of the songs around the same time. So we put out Sullen Cadence in 2020, and then we pretty much started writing Apocryphal Verse right away. But what happened was we basically, the three of us, me and Ciaran and Mike, we basically had like every major life event, big life change you could imagine happening, both good and bad, just came at us all at once. And so, like,
And COVID. And COVID.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, for starters, we were still mid-pandemic for sure. But I moved to Ireland. Mike had his first kid. Ciaran got married. I mean, it was just like, and it was all really great stuff. Obviously, really positive. But like, obviously, that's going to push back the production schedule, and just every delay you can imagine. So like, I think if there is like a sameness between the two EPs, that's probably why, because we wrote them all around the same time. It just took us forever to actually get the second
Yeah,
set of the
yeah.
song. So
But did the longer time allow you to make more like intricate adjustments, or did you guys just kind of finish it off and let it sit?
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's probably true. Yeah, because we were able to sit with them for a long time. So even well after we had finished all the tracking, when we were looking at mixing, even then we were going back and being like, oh, I don't know if should this part, maybe we should take this part out. I don't know if this is quite working. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it definitely allowed us to be a little more meticulous with those details, for better or for worse.
Yeah, well, I think it came out great.
So,
Like I told you over Instagram, I listen to music from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. And so like
thanks.
I get pretty familiar with like sound and like which way music's going.
Yeah.
Yours was really puzzling to me because like it wasn't, like you said, verse, chorus, verse or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah. Yeah.
standard. So I think it was like September, October. I was like, all right, the new Crypt Sermon EP is going to be my EP for the year. Nothing can touch it. It's
It
phenomenal.
is. Yeah.
And then I went to see them live, like
Yeah.
at the end of September, and I was like, it's sold. And then
Yeah.
this came out, and I was like, whoa. And then
Yeah.
then I look, and I was like, Tanner's on this too. Like
Yeah.
what does Tanner not do? But
Yeah. For real, man. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
but
that's so cool, man. That's so cool.
yeah, and I saw him on stage, and like I wanted to interrupt the concert and be like, I have a lot of questions about Majesties, and but it was a great time.
Yeah.
I hope Aduanten comes to Pittsburgh one day.
Yeah, we'd love to, man. We've not been able to play live, you know, when I was still in Texas, when we were all living in the same place, it was obviously COVID. There weren't any gigs or anything.
Yeah.
And then by the time it became possible to play gigs again, I decided to move to the other side of the world. So, um, but we've kept the possibility open. Like we've talked about maybe trying to do some fests and stuff. It's obviously a little complicated because of my travel situation, but we would absolutely love to do it sometime, and I'm sure we will eventually. Just kind of waiting for the stars to align, you know.
Sure. So
Yeah,
now, since they're in America and you're in Ireland, I'm
yeah.
sure you play a lot of live gigs, jazz, but do you have like any metal gigs that you sit in on or?
Man, to be honest, I have not really dug into the metal scene a whole lot here. Um, obviously there are bands that I know from here from back in the day, like Primordial and Morning Beloved, and all those bands I used to love from here. But as far as like the modern metal scene, I really haven't even gotten to the tip of the iceberg, man. Like I've really kind of spent most of my time getting into the jazz scene here and some of the other scenes. There's some really cool like post punk and kind of cool stuff happening here. But yeah, man, I'm honestly just totally ignorant. I hopefully I'll have time to do that soon because I'd love to dig into more of what's happening over here in metal.
Yeah, you'll have to send me some of those post-punk bands and some of that kind
Yeah,
of stuff too. I'm into
dude.
everything but country. I can't do country at all.
Yeah, I haven't heard any country yet, but yeah, there's uh if you feel like looking stuff up later, I was just listening today to this really cool band from Cork called Pebble Dash, which is they it's hard to describe. It's kind of a post-punk noise rock kind of thing, but they combine influences from like traditional Irish music too. So some of the like traditional Irish melodies you'll hear, but it is through this weird noisy guitar effect filter and just really interesting arrangements and stuff too. I love that band. If I was to recommend one, I'd definitely check them out. They're super cool.
I gotta listen to them. I gotta get re-familiar with Peter Gabriel too. It's been years since I've listened to him. My
Yeah.
dad was a big Peter Gabriel fan, so
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I should get back
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah. I'm a huge nerd for that whole like Genesis, Phil Collins, Peter Gabriel universe, as you can see here. Yeah, obviously a big Phil Collins fan as a drummer, but just as a songwriter too. And I'm a massive, massive Genesis fan, so I kind of just like branched out to all the solo work from there. So
Yeah, I've been well, maybe like since I was a kid, but I've been a huge Prince fan, and I
oh
think
yeah.
like the way his songwriting, and I recently found some channels that broke down how he writes songs and like
Mm,
his approach to songwriting, and I think just somebody with that level of genius
yeah,
had like a very unique approach to creating art, and I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. God, what a fascinating guy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, to think about what he would have done if he hadn't died so young, man. That's crazy. Like he's yeah, just a total singular genius, man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's my like guilty pleasure. Me and my kids, we
Mm,
listen to him constantly,
yeah.
and I'm
Love
glad
that.
they like it because
Yeah.
otherwise they'd hate me. But
Yeah, nothing guilty about that, man. He's a genius. So yeah,
and that's why like as soon as I heard the Aduanten Apocryphal Verse, I
yeah.
wanted to reach out to you guys because it was so different. It was so unique
Well, that's
that
cool.
I feel you guys, man, I wish everybody would just own this record, you know?
Man.
But
Yeah, me too. That'd be great.
yeah. So have you guys been getting a lot of praise over in Ireland for it, or is it like, because I've been hearing a
um.
lot of discussion about it online, and that's great. And I just
Oh, cool.
wondered if it made it over there.
I mean, I mean, I guess to be fair, we haven't made a huge effort to kind of promote it outside of the U.S. just because that's still kind of our home base, if you like, even though I'm over here. I mean, I definitely shared it with a lot of my friends over here in the music scene and got a lot of cool compliments, but nothing really like large scale as far as like zines or anything like that. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it. There's a few pockets I have in different countries that of
nice,
like we swap music all the time. They help promote
cool.
my stuff. I help promote theirs. Um,
Nice. Oh yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely send it over. Some Portugal, some Venezuela,
oh
and
yeah, awesome.
yeah, see where we can
Sure.
get it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So what are your plans for Aduanten in the future?
Yeah, so we're definitely going to do a full length record next. So we've done the two EPs, and a full length. We're kind of I don't know if we'll stick with this, but we had kind of tossed around a sort of a concept where we do two EPs and a full length with a certain kind of sound with a certain group of musicians, and then maybe we kind of do a different concept for another two EPs and another full length. And I mean, who knows how it'll actually shake out? Like, but we've been kind of thinking of these first two EPs and the full length as one kind of set that all goes together, you know. So we're in the middle of writing that, demoing. We're exchanging demos. I'm going to be in Texas a couple times over the next few months, and we're going to get together, do some writing sessions, and maybe even track the drums. Maybe if I can get my shit together by then, that might be a little ambitious, but yeah, there's definitely a full length coming, man. So that's the next big thing we're going to be focusing on. So
I think it's cool that you guys like to bring in like different musicians for the different feels. I noticed
yeah,
there's a lot more projects doing that now than I remember in the 80s and 90s. And,
yeah,
and I think it's really helping like push the boundaries and sounds of uniqueness.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I agree, man. I agree. I mean, I guess it's I guess part of it also, the technology makes it easier, right? Because if you bring in a new guest musician, you don't have to like fly them into the studio. You can just have them do their parts at home and send it over the internet. Like that's what we
yeah,
do too. You know, it's like it's we're really lucky to exist in this time with recording technology where it's at right now. We I don't know if we'd be able to exist as a band if it wasn't for that. You know, so
I agree. But
you know,
do you feel that that's counterproductive too? Like I listen to a lot of the older bands feel that like the internet is bad because
mm.
like I guess they were used to like, giant record sales back in the 80s, whereas like they don't have that anymore and
Yeah, yeah.
the money's a
No, I
little
mean, I
different.
yeah, it's different. You know, I get that. I mean, I will say I think there is something to be said for everybody being in the same room during a session. Like, you know, because I started doing a lot of studio work when remote recording was already pretty established. So like, I'd say probably most of the recording sessions I've done in my career have been that kind of thing where like I'm recording drums in Texas, but maybe it's going to a client in across the country or whatever, and we never
Sure.
meet. We're in the same room, you know. And I mean that's cool in some ways. I do think it's really cool. Also, the few times I've been able to do a session where we're all in the same room together, it's definitely like a different energy. And I know that's what a lot of people feel like is lost in this world of remote recording is kind of that vibe that you all have being in the same room. But I don't know, man. I think with technology and stuff, I try to be. I don't think it's ever all good or all bad. I think it's all just kind of complicated. It's better in some ways, maybe not so much in other ways, and it's kind of just more about how you make of it or what
Yeah.
you make of it, I should say. So you know, I mean, it's kind of just the world we live in now. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
As I just started this maybe about 2 years ago, but I was thinking along the lines of like what it would be like in the 80s. And
yeah,
now it's like a band from like the backwoods of Zimbabwe can just send me a
yeah,
file or like, hey, look me up on Apple Music. I'm right there. I can do
yeah,
a review and have it back to them within like an hour. Whereas
yeah,
like nobody's sending tapes and dubbing and
yeah, yeah,
but I also see like a lot of other band members complaining about the social media aspect of it and
yeah.
you're not just a musician anymore. You have to be like a press release. You have to put content out constantly. You have
Right, right,
promotions or
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see both of those sides too, man. Like we, you know, like every band, we have to do a lot of stuff on social media, and it can definitely be kind of exhausting sometimes. You know, coming up with stuff to post all the time and trying to make sure it's, you know, authentic, and so you don't feel like you're just like spamming people all the time. And but yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. Like I came up as I don't know if we might be similar ages, but I came up with like with in the era of like the CDs where CDs were really dominant, you know, and like
yeah,
I remember, you know, I grew up in with my brother and I. We both grew up in kind of a small town in Texas, and you know, finding metal underground metal records there, it was a small enough town that like there was no metal record store. We basically had to go to like Hastings, like one of the chains, special order anything that was less popular than like Morbid Angel. It would have to be like a special order, you know?
yeah,
And so like the whole process of getting a new album was like, you know, find out about it, go to Hastings, place the order, wait like 2 weeks. You know, it comes in, you pay $20, and maybe the album is terrible, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but you know, and now, you know, I can go check out a band on Bandcamp. I can buy their whole album for $5, and I can try before you buy. So if it sucks, I don't need to buy it. Like to me, that's just like so much better, you know. Like,
Oh yeah. And I think too, like a lot of people bag on streaming, and I stream a
yeah,
ton.
yeah,
Like I think all my records I don't even listen to because like lossless streaming is just so good now.
yeah,
But same thing that you said, like the music discovery aspect of it is just amazing. I never would have
yeah,
discovered Aduanten back in the 80s, you know?
yeah, man, yeah.
And
I
it's
agree.
just
Yeah,
I think it's great. I think it's
yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I definitely wish artists got paid a fair share through streaming, but I use it a lot too for the same way for the same way you're saying. Like I use it to discover new artists. I do a lot of try before you buy. Like if somebody recommends a record to me, I'll stream a couple tracks and be like, yeah, this is cool. Maybe I'll
yeah.
and I still buy everything. Like if it's an album I like, I'll always buy a digital copy of it. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like in terms of being able to discover artists, there's never been a better time to be a music fan. You know, it's
Sure.
great.
And I
Yeah.
think it's great for you guys because like you've without the internet, I don't think you probably would have met such cool people to create such a cool album with.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, possibly not, man. Who knows? Yeah,
How you guys cross paths or whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
to back it up a little bit with you
yeah.
writing and then having to send files to like, you know, your bandmates, with your brother being I imagine with you guys being in bands for as long as you have and your playing styles, you're probably well familiar how each other plays.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like there's more of like a spark or soul or energy, for lack of a better term, because you guys are like, I would think a little bit more intuitive of each other versus like a
Mhm.
random band member who's not familial?
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, when I'm so I mean, our usual process, like Ciaran is kind of the principal writer for all the songs. He'll usually do the first demo version of a song, and he has some drum software, some drum machine software, so he'll put like basic patterns on there. Um, I and so he'll send them to me just to give me an idea of like how he's thinking of the feel.
Okay.
But I will always like replace them with my own parts. And when I do that, I'll usually pick and choose from like because he writes some really cool drum patterns stuff that I would never think of. So I usually pick and choose some to keep from his demo, and others I'll just totally rewrite it. And but yeah, it's true, man. Like I've you know, when I hear his demos now, there are always moments when I'm just like, oh, that's such a Ciaran riff, like, or sort of like, oh, okay, I know what he's doing with this rhythmic trick here. This is something he's done before on this other song, so I can kind of do this with the beat. There's definitely all that kind of shorthand for sure that I find whenever I do demos for other, like if I'm just doing session work for another artist I've never worked for before, it's more of a starting from scratch. We don't have that familiarity, but yeah, with Ciaran, it's like uh he's always reinventing, he's always doing stuff that's like new and surprising me, but at the same time it's always that I can always hear tendencies when I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing that trick again, like you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I wondered like because I can't write shit. I can barely even play them. But I wonder like when you're writing in person, like especially with family, you'd be like, "Oh shit, I like that. Keep doing that." But you kind
yeah,
of like lose that a little bit, I think, on the
yeah, yeah. I mean that is probably the downside of it, is that like we're not in the same room, so I can't just be like, oh, where are you thinking of the downbeat on that riff? Like I don't know if I'm hearing it the same way you are. Like it's a little bit different when he's just emailing me like a finished song and he's got some basic drum ideas in there. I kind of have to like reverse engineer it on my own whenever I'm listening through it, you know?
okay, yeah,
So yeah, I mean it's definitely like a different process. I mean, we've been doing it for a long time, so we've probably got good practice in it by now. But yeah, it's just a different thing. Like writing in person, it's obviously a little bit more conversational, a little more back and forth, you know.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
wonder if Mike feels like a little out of the loop, like a third wheel, you know, like you got these two brothers teaming up
Oh,
on
I
him.
mean, no, I mean, you know, I'd like, I don't want to, yeah, like, I mean, credit where it's due. Like, um, we all contribute to the arrangements. I mean, like, usually the way it works is like, Ciaran will do kind of the first pass. I'll do my drum demo, and then we all exchange it between the three of us. that's when Mike will often chime in with like arrangement ideas and sort of he's like a great problem solver with writing and arranging. You know, there are so many times with Aduanten songs where me and Ciaran will be stuck on like, man, I can't figure out like how to transition from this part to this part. It's just not very smooth. It needs something else. Mike is like a perfect person to just be like, he'll come up with just like the perfect solution to be like, oh, why don't we do XYZ? So it's all really collective, and he's probably going to be writing more for the full length because he used to write a lot in Vex.
Okay.
A lot of the later Vex songs were songs that he wrote start to finish, and he's a brilliant writer in his own right. So yeah, like yeah, don't want to give him short shrift or anything, you
Yeah.
know.
But
So
I wasn't thinking too that he was in Vex. So it's not like he's a third wheel. He kind of has like a
yeah,
really long track record with you guys anyway. So I'm sure it's just
yeah,
natural cohesiveness.
absolutely, man. I've the first band I was in with Mike was in 2000, God, seven, I think,
Wow.
2006 or seven. And we've been in all kinds of bands since then, man. We've been in jazz bands, we've been in prog bands, we've been in pop bands, we've done like commercial jingles, like everything you can think of, man, and tons of metal bands too. So yeah, we definitely have that same kind of shorthand I was describing with Ciaran. Like, uh, if I hear Mike play, I know it's him from a mile away. I know his
Okay.
tendencies. Like, I know how to write drum parts to his riffs. So it's definitely that same kind of collective familiarity, you know. So
So when you bring in like Tanner, he did he do
yeah.
all the vocals on this?
No, so on both Sullen Cadence and this one, it was kind of split more or less evenly between him and Damien.
Okay. They have
Yeah.
very similar styles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really great stuff. But when you bring in like guys like that, how much do they contribute to like their opinions? Does it sway you guys a lot or
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, I guess in Tanner's case, like Ciaran actually, so Ciaran writes all the lyrics as well. But for these two EPs, Ciaran worked pretty closely with Tanner on the lyrics because, as you know, Tanner is a pretty brilliant lyricist himself too.
yeah.
So Ciaran kind of wanted that collaboration of like wanted to kind of pick his brain a little bit about how he thinks about vocal parts and how to write them and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you know, like honestly, man, like we want to work with musicians who we look up to and who we admire and respect. So we always want to hear feedback from all of them, right?
Yeah.
Even if we don't end up using it, like you know, we want to work with people who are gonna think of weird shit that we would never think of. People who, like I said, we really admire, and we know they have really brilliant musical ideas. So with Tanner and with Damien, with Joel, with everybody who was involved in the record, like they were you know, giving feedback, making suggestions, and it was all just became part of the kind of creative process for it. So you know, we really can't take all the credit, like even you know, like the credit is shared between everybody on the record. Like even if me and Ciaran and Mike did most of the writing, like everybody contributed ideas that ended up on those records. So it was really a really collective thing, you know.
I think it's cool that you guys are open to that kind of stuff. A lot of bands would be like, "Nope, we're hardline this." And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I th
Well, I mean, you know, we like I said, we're such fans of all their music. You know, Horrendous. I'm a huge fan of that. Last Horrendous record was one of my favorite metal albums in years, man. Ontological Mysterium. That album
yep.
was fucking brilliant
The
and
first two songs on that are mind-blowing. The
amazing.
Blaze, and I can't remember the other one's title. And it was fucked up because I just started this maybe like 2 weeks before January of 2024. So it was like the end of December. And
Uh,
I discovered Majesties at the middle of 2023. I listened to it the whole year. And then, like, the beginning of 2024, I discovered that Ontological Mysterium. And I
yeah,
was like, oh my God. And then I
yeah,
was like, for like all of 24, I was like, I don't know which one's the better album. And then
yeah.
when I went back and I looked and I was like, shit, we got Horrendous and Majesties on the same album. Plus, like, how can this not be the EP of the year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were super honored that they were both willing to be a part of it, man. Yeah, like I said, massive fan of that record, massive fan of Majesties, massive fan of Inexorum, the other
Oh, yeah.
side project of the Obsequiae dudes, and Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like not much more I could say. We were just honored that they did it, and the album is so much of what makes the album work is because of their brilliance. Like
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
hey,
they're
I
just
hate I hate to cut it short, but we're running
yeah,
out of time,
all
obviously.
good. Yeah,
So
yeah, no, all good, man.
I want to thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
I want to praise you because this album was so good. Give me more. And anything I can do for you guys in the future, man, to help you guys out, let me know, man. I'd love to help.
That's so rad, man. Thank you, and thank you for all the kind words on the record and for everything you've done already. And yeah, it's really great to chat today. Really appreciate the invite. Yeah, I'm sure we'll meet again someday.
Yeah, definitely.